Hi, my name is Kersten Kimura. Welcome to the Balanced Vibes podcast. If you're ready to quit the black and white approach to health and fitness, this is the podcast for you. There's no room for extremes and all or nothing thinking. We are here to talk about real health, sustainable diet and fitness, positive psychology, and spiritual growth, helping you become your own biggest superfan. Welcome to the show. Hello, my friends. What is up? Thank you so much for being here and tuning into this first actual episode of the Balanced Vibes podcast. The first episode was all about the introduction, who I am, what I do, why I'm talking about these topics that I'm talking about. And today we're going to dig into one of the major things that I am very, very passionate about, and that is overtraining. I hope you are all ready for this podcast, that you are feeling great and doing awesome. It is mid-April here right now when I'm recording it, and it's so warm and sunny outside. I hope wherever you are is warm and sunny too, because I don't know about you, but for me, when the weather is great, when the sun is out, I feel like $1,000,000. And when it's the, kind of gloomy and rainy, I don't feel like $1,000,000. So today is definitely the $1,000,000 kind of day, and I hope for you too. And yes, we're going to dig into this big topic of overtraining. As you know, this podcast is all about balance and finding balance and staying smart about our food and fitness and health and also mindset. And overtraining is one of these things that often gets on our way of finding that balance with our health and fitness. We want to do too much and too fast, and we want to get quick results, and this is what gets us in trouble. First of all, let's talk about overtraining, what it is. Overtraining is, to put it really simply, it's just our body's inability to manage that stress that we put on them. So what it means is that basically, let's say that you are a runner or you go to a gym often, and then you do your workout, and ideally you should get better. You should get better. Your body should adapt to this stress, because exercise is stress on the body. And when it adapts to that stress, when the recovery is good, when the sleep is good, when the food intake is good, then it means that the body is getting stronger. We're building muscle, our cardiovascular system gets stronger. Overall, we should start feeling better. Maybe we have some fitness goals that we want to achieve. For example, we want to run faster and we get faster. Or we want to be able to lift heavier weights and we are able to lift heavier weights, given that the programming, of course, is good. Or also if you want to put on muscle and you do everything right in the gym, and then your rest and recovery are on point too, then you put on that muscle and are able to change your physique if this is your goal. Now, what happens when we are overtraining is that we are not getting better results. We may work as hard as we want. We may be in the gym for several hours a day or run more and more and more, but something's not clicking, something's not right, and we are not getting better. And the problem is, exactly like I said before, the body is, for one reason or another, unable to handle that workout load, that workout stress. It's probably not recovering properly. There's some hormonal shifts happening, and we are not getting the results that we want. What is causing this situation? Well, there are several reasons, of course, but put it very simply, first thing, too much exercise. Second thing, too intense exercise. Or third thing, too long exercise. And I'm going to talk about each one of them separately. Too much exercise means that, you do too many workouts. It's just as simple as that. And for example, I have worked with tens of clients who have done workouts maybe 6 days a week, 7 days a week, and some of them even 2 workouts in one day, and sometimes like 5 days in a row. So that's going to be 10 workouts. Of course, it's not only a lot of time, but it's also so much pressure on the body. So this is too much exercise. The body just does not have the time to recover because it's on the go all the time. The second thing might be too intense exercise. High intensity exercise is super popular right now. And it's not hard to see why, because they are usually quick. Intense workouts are usually quick. They're done in 15 or 20 minutes. And those who really promote that type of exercise, and by the way, I'm not saying it's good or bad, just saying that those who promote this type of exercise are really, they have really good marketing tools. Let's just put it that way, because, the workouts give you quick results. Absolutely true. They are done in a very short amount of time compared to like a regular muscle building exercise. And you're done and you're ready to move on with your day. However, what too intense exercise does when it's done too frequently at the same time is that, yes, it can burn fat. I actually do think that intense exercise is one of the best fat burners, but it's also really, really taxing on the body. Different people have different opinions on how much of high intensity exercise is okay for the body, and it's super, super individual. But I would say that roughly, if you really want to do that high intensity exercise, then 3-4 times a week is definitely enough. You don't have to do more than that. I'm getting into the details how much I recommend each type of exercise in a little bit later in this podcast. But for now, I'm going to say that super high intensity exercise, while it may give you the physique results, then it's also really, really taxing on the body and can make you really exhausted, really tired, feeling really drained if your body is not ready for that amount of exercise. So this is another way how we end up overtraining ourselves. You may think that, you know what, I'm not training that much. I'm doing 5 days a week, 20 minutes or 30 minutes, but it may be too much for you because it's very, very individual. And there are also so many other factors that play into it: how you're sleeping, how you're recovering, what you're eating, and so on. Okay, we talked about too much exercise, then we talked about too intense exercise, and lastly, too long workouts. For example, long distance running. And I am super, super familiar with that too. I used to do long distance running for years. I think between the ages 21 to 26, this is all I did. Literally every day, almost every day of the week, or at least 6 days a week, I would run at least an hour. Most of the time fasted, no food in my belly, just get it down first thing in the morning. And what looked like, yeah, this is awesome, this is dedication, good job, keep doing it. At the same time, what also happened was that I was getting more and more and more drained. And the problem with too long workouts and also with too intense workouts is that our bodies produce cortisol, and the cortisol can hang out in the body for a little too long if our workouts are too long or if they're too intense. Cortisol is a stress hormone that our adrenal glands are making together with adrenaline and norepinephrine. These hormones are totally normal. There's nothing wrong about them, and actually it's absolutely normal response if our bodies produce these hormones after we're working out or while we are working out. What often happens after too long workouts is that cortisol likes to hang out a little bit longer. The adrenaline and the norepinephrine, not so much, but the cortisol likes to hang out and stay elevated. Now, when this becomes a problem, a lot of things start happening. For example, too much cortisol, if it's chronically elevated all the time, it can suppress the immune system, it can increase blood pressure and blood sugar, it can decrease libido, it can take away your period or make your menstrual cycle really unpredictable. It can do a lot of things that we don't want to see. And here's what happens if we are working out so much that our cortisol stays up all the time, and why our periods and our libido get affected, for example, is that in order to have libido, in order to have normal periods, we need to have a certain level of sex hormones. But the cortisol, which is the stress hormone, and those sex hormones are made from the same, let's call it the mother hormone. And now, if our bodies perceive that there is a lot of stress, because the long exercise is stress in the body, it chooses to create more cortisol and less of those sex hormones, because it sees as we are in a dangerous situation, we have to run away from something, and it helps us because by producing cortisol, it's going to give us the power to run away. It increases our the blood circulation. It increases the blood transportation into our muscles. It makes our heart rate go up and heartbeat faster, all so that we can run away from that potential danger. However, what our bodies don't know is that there's no lion chasing us and we are just running on a treadmill for 2 hours already. Okay, so this is a little bit like a science behind it, why it happens, super simplified. Of course, there are so many more details, but basically, overtraining happens because we are working out too much or too intensely, or our workouts are too long. And if our recovery is not on point, then we start running into these issues that I just talked about. And I have, of course, experienced all this firsthand. If you listen to the first podcast episode, then you know that I had almost all of these symptoms that I talked about. I was cold all the time. My body temperature was just really low. My sex drive I didn't have it. My periods were gone for 10 years. What else did I have? My sleep was terrible. Sleep was really, really bad. I got such bad insomnia. And that, by the way, is again, a lot of times a cortisol issue. What else can happen? Poor recovery. Let's say that your muscles are super sore all the time. Not just, the regular tightness after a big, like a strength workout. That's normal. Of course, you get sore. But if your muscles are sore for days and days afterwards, then that means that there's something going on. The body's not able to heal itself. Also, you may have chronic fatigue. No matter how much you sleep, you never wake up rested and ready to go. However, what most of us do who are, very perfect and want to do everything perfectly and get the workout done no matter what, we still go to the gym. I know that that was definitely me and probably you too. You're still going to go and do your run. You're still going to push through because we have this idea in our society that, if you get it done, you're awesome. And maybe you have this physique that you're really, really proud of. And of course, you don't want to lose it. And you're like, I have to go no matter how fatigued I am. I just have to do it. But you actually don't because your body is talking to you. I really like this saying, if you hear your body whisper, you never have to hear it scream. Meaning that if we listen to our bodies when they're sending us these signs that, hey, something's not okay, I'm super sore all the time, my periods are gone, my hair's falling out, can you please listen and kind of dial back these workouts a little bit? If we don't hear that, then things get really, really, really bad to the point where you may end up with what's called adrenal fatigue or, just like sleeping almost the entire day and not feeling better. So all these things can happen if we don't hear our bodies whisper. I know that it's very, very hard for a lot of people to take rest days because we feel like we have to do it. And a lot of people even feel guilty when they don't work out because they have been doing it for such a long time. However, I want to say that why are we feeling guilty for doing something that's great for us? That's really, really good for our bodies. How is that okay to feel guilty for that? At the same time, it's not okay to feel guilty for skipping a workout, right? So there's like this controversy. There's this very opposite way of like, we say we want one thing and then we actually do the other things. And there's this cool metaphor that I really like, which is, you can picture yourself being on a river and there's two boats and you have your one leg in one boat and the other leg in the other boat. And the boats are going in different directions. And when you are pushing yourself to work out hard at the same time your body is not recovering, this is exactly what it looks like. You are not going anywhere. You're just stuck. You go like a little bit one way and a little bit the other way, but you are not getting better. You're not getting to any destination with that. So that's why it's so, so critical that we take rest days and hear our bodies whisper before they start screaming at it. A lot of times it's so hard to take rest days because we compare. And comparison is like it's a really, really dangerous thing. I know that when I recovered from my hypothalamic amenorrhea and got back to training, of course I wanted to start doing like hard stuff again. And I was comparing myself to the old version of me who was able to do a lot of high intensity training. And I was also comparing myself to other people who were doing like badass workouts. And I saw them on Instagram and I was like, I want to do that. I used to be able to do that. How come I cannot? And I tried. I wanted to be that old version of me. I was comparing myself to this old version of me who was able to go and crush it no matter what. And I tried, and it did not go that well because my periods would get wonky, they would get super long, the cycles would get super long, and so on. And then I would also compare to other people. For example, I would see somebody doing this really hard workout that I wanted to do, and would think, I can do it, I can do it. And I couldn't do it, or I was just getting really, really tired super quickly, and it wasn't the right thing for me to do. And I remember one time when I was getting adjustments from my chiropractor, and I was really frustrated because I told him that I just cannot believe where I am right now because, 6 months ago I was able to do this and that and do these hardcore workouts, and now I am back in the gym after like 6 months off, and I can barely do the things that I was able to do before. And then, everything was so much better then. And then he told me that, you know what? There's only one person whose workouts should matter to you when they're yours. They're your own workouts. Why are you so worried about what anyone else is doing? And you got to live in the now and do what are things that are good for your body right now, and not compare to that person who you were 6 months ago or 8 months ago or a year ago, because that was a different person. Also, that was this really unhealthy person who had all these hormonal issues and who was severely overtraining. And why do you think you have to go back there? You're not ready, and you're not supposed to be there. And just hearing that was really, really good for me, because I realized that, yeah, it is right. Like I am a new person, I'm a different person, I'm actually healthier, although my conditioning and strength were less than they had been before. But finally I was hormonally healthy, and I realized that it's not my job to compare myself to anyone, including to my previous version of myself or other people on the internet. How do you then know what kind of workout is good for you? What are you ready for? And for that, I want to give you a super simple idea. I call it the traffic light metaphor. And this gives you like a really good idea on how to work out on a given day, because not all days are the same. I don't think there's anyone who's feeling like 100% going hard and crushing every single day. I know I'm not the one. The different thing is, do we admit that? Because again, going back to the old version of me, that's the person who would have never admitted that, oh yeah, I'm feeling kind of shitty today, I don't feel great, I didn't sleep good, but I'm going to do it anyway. I'm always going to be doing like 100%, because if I don't, it's not okay. It's like a sign of weakness, or it's just like you're a loser, whatever. But now I don't see it anymore that way. And now I use this red, yellow, and green kind of metaphor to know where my body's at and what I can do with it today. What's the good workout for me today? So here's how it goes. Basically, you can ask yourself, how am I feeling today? Am I feeling absolutely amazing and awesome? And this is your green day if that's how you feel. This is when you had a really, really good sleep. Your body is recovered from your earlier workouts. Your energy is good. You've been eating well. You're just feeling really, really good. And maybe you're following a workout plan, or maybe you want to do like a higher intensity workout. Maybe you want to try that little longer run today, or maybe you want to try to lift heavy stuff today. I would say go for it. Do it. If you're feeling that 100%, this is your green day, go and do it. Then there's going to be some days when you're feeling kind of yellow, which means that you're feeling less than 100%, but you are not completely drained either. So you're somewhere in between. Maybe your sleep wasn't super good. Maybe you are a little bit sore. Maybe you are a little bit tired, but not so tired that you're not like able to go and do anything. So on these days, do something lighter. Maybe you go to a yoga class, or maybe you go and do a little hike. Or maybe if you follow a plan, I don't think there's anything bad in following your workout plan, but all workout plans have to be adjustable. So if today is your yellow day, let's say you just kind of cut that a little bit shorter. Maybe you do, instead of six exercises, you do maybe 3, or maybe you do all these 6, but instead of 4 rounds, you do 2 rounds. So you just adjust based on how your body's feeling, and you're not gonna let any guilt come in, because you know that Your body's not lying to you. If it told you that today is that yellow day, that's that yellow day. And the best thing to do is to be honest with yourself and listen to it. And then all of us have, of course, the red days, which are those days we don't want to have, but we have them once in a while. For example, you didn't sleep well. Maybe your sleep was like around 6 hours or so. Maybe you're really, really, really sore, and the best thing to do today is just walk. Maybe your eating has been really bad in that maybe you haven't had time to eat, you're super hungry. Don't push yourself to go to the gym without having eaten anything. For whatever reason, you're just feeling really, really bad. And these are the days when it's better to just rest. It's better to maybe take a little walk or stretch or foam roll. I think these things are absolutely fine. And especially if you're tired, if you're like physically tired, this is where it's most important to recognize that, okay, I'm not going to go and push myself. If you're just mentally, tired, then sometimes it's even good to go and do a little workout. It's going to make you feel better, but I'm mostly talking about physically, just not feeling it. It just doesn't feel right to go and work out and push your body hard because you know that it's not going to feel better afterwards. By the way, you may feel better for a second, but let's say that 1 hour after that workout, you're feeling completely trashed. Then this is a sign that you absolutely and definitely overdid it. Please don't repeat the same thing tomorrow. If you have a lot of red days, then you got to think, what is the reason? Am I still pushing myself? Am I still doing those hard workouts when I'm not supposed to? And understanding that nothing is going to get better unless you change something. It makes total sense that if you've been doing super high intensity workouts 5 days a week and now you add the sixth and the seventh day, you're not going to feel any better. So that's why it's so important that you take that day off or 2 or 3 days off until you start feeling better. Because ideally, we all want to be in this green zone most of the time, right? But it's not possible to get to that green if we don't rest. Otherwise, we'll always be in the red zone. Next thing that I wanted to talk about is that is it still possible to work out even when you are overtrained? Because I know, like I said earlier, for many of us, just the idea of missing one day is so hard, and you want to move and you want to do something, but you don't know if that's okay and if you should do it. And definitely there are some ways how we can move our bodies, but it all depends on the level of our overtraining. And I want to give you kind of like a 4 categories of how you're feeling today and what kind of workout you should do. For example, if you are feeling super healthy, then your recovery is great, your sleep is great, your periods are okay, and your hormones are healthy, then looks like you already know how to work out and keep doing what you're doing. You do not have that overtraining issue. The next phase would be what I would call mild overtraining. And this is what we have all experienced. This is just this extreme muscle soreness and a little bit more fatigue after doing a harder workout. So it's not overtraining in the sense of you are burnt out, you need weeks and weeks off and you have sleep issues and you have cycle problems. Nothing like that. This is just a temporary fatigue and muscle soreness that should go away in like 3 days. You can keep doing most of your workouts the way that you have been planning. Just really listen to your body and give yourself enough time to recover. You can still do, let's say, like 2 to 4 strength workouts a week, but again, knowing when is the time to push yourself and when is the time not to push yourself, and also 1 to 2 restorative workouts a week, maybe some yoga and some stretching. Now, one level up from here, or should I say down, depending on how you look at it, would be moderate overtraining. So moderate overtraining is where you have some sleep problems. For example, you sleep, but you never get enough sleep, seems like, even if you've been sleeping like 9-10 hours. Or you have the opposite problem, which I had, which was insomnia. You have prolonged muscle soreness, decreased libido, more intense cravings, or then your menstrual cycle has gotten longer, or your time between your ovulation and your period is very short. So ideally, that should be at least 11, very ideally 14 days from your ovulation to your period. Now, if this is getting shorter than 11 days, then we can start talking about pretty moderate overtraining there. If this is the case, here's how I would recommend you to work out. You can do maybe 2 or 3 strength workouts a week, but here's the important part. you want to have full rest between your sets. You're not going to do any cardio or any hit or jump around between your bicep curls. You're just not going to do those burpees and kettlebell swings. You can do, let's say, 2 max 3 strength workouts with heavy weights and moderate number of reps, maybe 8 to 12, and then you're going to rest until you feel ready. Okay, I can go again. You let your heart rate drop and make sure that you're actually feeling ready. So this is the moderate, a slight overtraining where you have some problems happening, and it's better to stay away from this intensity and better to stay away from this cardio. And then we can talk about severe overtraining. And the symptoms of that are, a lot of them are what I experienced when I had hypothalamic amenorrhea, which are chronic fatigue, very low libido, loss of period, hair loss, constipation a lot of times is pretty common, feeling cold, having brain fog, feeling irritable, and you have anxiety or even depression. And how do you train when you're feeling that way? I would say focus on movement and not exercise, because right now, all you really want to do is walk outside and just chill. And I don't mean walking outside like going crazy uphill walks and bringing your dumbbells and going as fast as you can, because this is going to again increase that cortisol that I talked about earlier. And this is the last thing we want, because as you remember, when your cortisol is super high, then your sex hormones are, a lot of times, are super low, because they are made from that same mother hormone, and the body prefers cortisol because it thinks that you are in danger. You can also do some restorative yoga, and again, I am not talking about those like whatever they're like core power and super intense yoga classes where the purpose is to get the heart rate up and to tone. I'm using air quotes here, tone and get you fit and lean. And a lot of them probably tell you to build that long lean muscle, which is another thing that is untrue. You cannot make your muscles longer. And also just lie on that freaking couch. Just rest and recovery and Netflix time, whatever you want to do. But your workouts are not your priority if you're severely overtrained. And it takes time to come out of this stage of overtraining, because your body is absolutely exhausted. It needs some extra care. It needs some extra nourishment. It needs needs a lot of physical rest. And it depends. It can take you a couple of weeks maybe, but if you're very severely overtrained, it can even take like half a year or sometimes even more to fully recover. That's why it's so important that when you find yourself in this red zone, often that you start taking it easier, because you don't want to get into this super severe overtraining phase where it's going to take you months and months to get out of it. Because I feel like if I had listened to my body earlier, I probably would not have needed that 5-month break in 2017, and I would have gotten away with way shorter break. But let's talk about somebody who is really healthy and ready to work out and just does not know how much is okay to work out, or what are the things that they should be doing. First thing to think about is, what is the workout that you really enjoy doing? This is really the most important thing, because we know that if we want to be consistent with workouts, if we want to get the results that we want to get, we have to like the thing that we're doing. Because if it's something that just somebody told us we have to do, or if we're only working out in order to lose weight and lose fat, then it's just so common that the workout becomes a dread. We don't want to do it, and we just feel forced, and we just start feeling like, this is the last thing I want to do, and we don't stay consistent. Most important thing, start thinking, what do you really like? And sometimes it may be really hard. Like a lot of people say that I don't like anything. I just don't like fitness. I don't like moving my body. But I do believe that everybody can find something that they like to do. And it's, even if it takes you a couple of months to figure out what that thing is, figure it out. Take your time, try out different things. I think it's called the class pass that allows you to go to different places and try out different workouts and see what you like and what you don't like, and then find your favorites. And the second thing to think about is, what do you want to get out of your physical fitness? Do you want to increase your cardiovascular health? Do you want to put on muscle? Do you want to get as strong as possible? What is that thing that you want to do? And I highly recommend that it's something else that is not just physique focused, of course, you may want to put on some muscle that makes you look leaner, makes you look stronger, and that's great. But you also have to enjoy it. So, two things: find the workout that you enjoy, and second thing, understand that different workouts give you different results. So, what do you want to get out of it? Now, being said all that, I want to say that it's really important for most people to do at least some kind of strength workout, some kind of resistance training. And it's important because we want to maintain muscle. As we age, we're going to lose more muscle, and it's important to keep it up. It's just really, really healthy thing to do. And even if you like your cardio training, even if it doesn't break your hormones, it does not have to, but in some people it does, it's still important that you do at least a couple of strength workouts because the body stays stronger, it stays more resilient. You're just even building up your immune system, and your metabolism is going to be stronger as well. Here's my simple template for somebody who is actually really healthy. And again, I'm not talking about those people who are maybe in the severe overtraining phase and should really rest and recover instead of doing anything other for now until they start feeling better. I'm talking about people who are strong and healthy, feeling good, and don't have any hormonal issues. So here's the basic template that I would recommend. I would recommend 2 to 4 strength workouts per week and something restorative like yoga 1 to 2 days a week. And I also recommend walking or just leisurely bike riding or something that's just very, very, very like chill and relaxed. And it's not about going as fast as possible, as hard as possible. I remember that when I was really like into that crazy fast and a lot of fitness, then I would try to even turn hikes into like a competition. Like, hey, let's see where we can find the hilliest hike and can we go up that hill like real fast, and let's add some sprints here and there. And not that it cannot be fun, it can be fun to do all that, but in my mind it was always like, how can I do more? How can I do faster? And this is not what I mean when I say, we should walk or do something chill almost every day. This is more like to undo the life stress and the potential workout stress, just going outside and walking and relaxing. And by the way, there's a big difference between walking in nature and enjoying the sunshine, or even if you don't have sunshine, it's still a good idea to go outside for a little bit. This is different from walking in the gym and walking on the treadmill. For example, a lot of people do that and they walk, and while they're walking, they're getting back to their work emails, which, yeah, it's multitasking. You get both things done that you have to get done anyways, but this does not have the same effect. There was even a study where they compared people who walked, I don't remember exactly what time it was, but they walked through a super crowded shopping mall, and then they had the other group of people walking in a forest or some kind of nature setting, and then they checked their cortisol levels, and you can guess whose cortisol levels were better. So even if you walk the same amount, you walk the same number of steps, same amount of time, then the setting matters and how you do it matters. So you want to keep it relaxed and nice and enjoyable and fun. And if you can walk outside, of course it's not always possible, especially in the winter time. In a lot of places it's just maybe too cold, although I gotta say that I'm still a fan of outdoor exercise even when it's cold outside. And it's really important that we all take rest days, and it's good to have built-in rest days that are part of your workout routine. For example, you can have 1 or 2 or 3 rest days a week, and that's super individual. I personally tend to take 3 days off, at least two, but most weeks 3 days off. When things were really bad, when I was doing a lot, I would only take 1 rest day a week, and that was not enough for me. And how did I know? Was that looking back, of course, I know that I had all these symptoms, and that was not enough time for me personally to recover. You may be different, but you have to listen to your body and see what your body tells you, how much is good for you, and when is the time to take a break. But also, we want to prevent our bodies from going to that stage where they're forcing us to take rest days. That's why it's important that we already have some rest days built into our regular routine. So like I said, maybe 2 days off or 3 days off. And in addition to that, don't be afraid to take unplanned rest days, because if your body is telling you, hey, it's time to take time off, then you got to listen to that and do it. And by the way, what is the reason why bodies get so stressed out? It's not only the workouts. It's not only that, because we also have a lot of other types of stressors. Maybe the work is really, really stressful. We have crazy deadlines, or family life, or whatever is going on. All these things affect our bodies very, very similarly. All of these things increase the cortisol levels and make us like go like crazy. So if in this situation you do workouts on top of that big life stress, then you may realize that you need more downtime, and that's totally normal. And this is where the longer walks come in again, or the bike rides. I also really recommend that everybody do some breathing exercise and meditation, which is going to be another topic on this podcast, but really, really good ways to kind of help your parasympathetic nervous system come back online so that you can feel rest and recovered. Here are some takeaways from this podcast today, all about overtraining, and I have 5 things I would like you to keep in mind if you want to keep your training really balanced and feel healthy, and let the exercise do that job that it's meant to do, which is making you fitter and making you feel better and stronger. Number 1, work out to the way that's most enjoyable to you. Like I said, if it's something that you dread, that you don't like, but maybe you just do it because your friend is doing it, or maybe you read somewhere that this is the best fat burner, or this is going to give you those results that you really wanted. If that's your only motivator, but you don't like it, then it's not going to last very long. So it's very, very important that you find the workout that's most enjoyable to you. Number 2, use the traffic light to know what workout to do today. Remember, is it a red day? Nope, not going to work out, or doing something very, very light. Is it a yellow where you're feeling, I guess, a good workout, but I'm not ready to go 100%. I'm just going to cut my reps a little bit lower, or cut my overall workout time a little bit lower. Or maybe you have a green day when it's like, yeah, go for it, do it. You're feeling awesome. So use that traffic light. Number 3, do some strength training. I really highly recommend that everybody does some strength training, even if cardio is your first love. Yeah, that's fine. Let it be. As long as you're healthy, that's okay. Enjoy your cardio, but do some strength training. It's really, really important for the body. Number 4, pay attention to your recovery. How is your sleep? Is your sleep getting a little bit wonky? Do you feel like, okay, I'm not falling asleep very well, or you're falling asleep but you're waking up 4 a.m.? I know personally for me, this is one of the signs that I know, okay, you've been doing too much. When I start waking up 4 a.m., this is where I know that I've been doing too much. What other signs can be there that tell you that you haven't been recovering well? For example, for women, I think most of you listeners are women. If your periods get wonky, I told you that already. If you find that you're really cold all the time, you're sore, your muscles are sore longer than usual, and you're just chronically fatigued. You're fatigued and so tired and thinking, why am I feeling like crap? Well, that's probably because you've been overtraining. And lastly, have some rest days built into your routine already. 2-3 rest days a week would be great. And also take some unplanned rest days. And don't freak out if you have to take a day off. Remember that it's totally fine. You're not going to lose your fitness overnight. You're not going to lose your gains overnight. And all you're doing when you're taking rest days is you're letting your body recover. You don't have to start like under eating because you took one day off, and you don't have to feel guilty, and you don't have to do like jumping jacks in the bathroom secretly so that you can like keep your fitness level up. I'm just saying that because I may have done that at one point when I was like, oh my goodness, I'm resting or taking a day off. I have to do something. So I would do like some weird stuff like that. So take a day off and take 2 or 3 days off. And remember, if you catch it early, you don't have to take weeks and months off later, like many of us have had to take. All right, this is it for today's podcast. I hope you found it useful. I would really like to hear your feedback. So you can always find me on Instagram. I am at Kerstin Kimura. And you can also check out my website and send me your feedback through the contact form there. My website is urbanchain.co. Next week, we're talking about balanced diet and balanced eating and what that looks like. So I hope you tune in again next week, and I will talk to you then. Bye-bye. Thanks so much for listening to the Balanced Vibes podcast. If you liked the episode, please subscribe and also leave a 5-star review on iTunes. For more about me, check out my website urbanjane.co. Yes, that's co and not com. And connect with me on Instagram, where my username is Kirsten Kimura. That's KERSTENKIMURA. Until next time.